Hi, everyone. I just wanted to hop on and give an update of what I've learned this last week in school. So we've been focusing on the area of cardiovascular disease, which is kind of an umbrella for lots of other medical conditions. So I'll list some of them included in cardiovascular disease. So that includes hypertension, coronary heart disease, so that's plaque buildup in the arteries of the heart failure, so that's where the muscle of the heart is weak and not pumping as effectively, and then stroke. Some things to help decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease include fitness, having good mental health, having good sleep, having connectedness to others and to ourselves. Spirituality can be important as well. Being an optimistic person, minimizing your exposure to potential like pollutants or environmental toxins. And then also an important thing to consider from a community as a whole is helping to ensure that everyone has access to resources that enable them to have dietary and lifestyle changes to help improve heart health. So that would be underserved populations, homeless people that are lacking those necessary resources to have overall good health and well-being. Cardiovascular risk increase with chronic inflammation. So a lot of the tips I've shared previously are basically focused on combating inflammation in the body. And so if we're decreasing inflammation in the body, we're decreasing our potential risk for cardiovascular disease down the line. A fact that I learned that I was not aware of before this section on my Andrew Weil portion of school, it said almost 50% of all adults over the age of 20 have some form of cardiovascular disease. That's a lot of people with cardiovascular disease. Also, more Americans have died from cardiovascular disease than any other cause. So essentially, it's the leading cause of death in the US. And so, definitely something to be prioritizing is our heart health and ways to support good heart health. We need to focus on eating more healthy fats. So, fats that include omega-3 fatty acids. So, that would be like salmon and sardines, olives, olive oil, most nuts, avocados, eating more plant foods, so fruits and vegetables, because those contain antioxidants and phytonutrients, which all help optimize body's functioning. It decreases inflammation. It helps the body expel toxins as well. And also foods containing protective micronutrients. So specific micronutrients that help support heart health are calcium, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, fiber, and potassium. It's also important to minimize the amounts of processed foods and fast foods we consume. They tend to be high in calories and low in like good quality nutrition. They tend to be higher in saturated fats, fats we want to avoid. So if we're minimizing those in our diet, it can definitely improve our chances of having good heart health. With diet, it's not one size fits all. So that's where I really hesitate to offer anything specific. I like to provide information. I'm hoping people are becoming curious. I'm hoping you're learning something from this that you can add into your life. And then if ever you have specific questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. But I'm really hesitant to provide any like follow this X, Y, and Z because it's very patient specific, and in Ayurveda, it's very dosha specific to as far as what will support each individual the best. Another thing to consider are low calorie or those sugar-free sweeteners, those ones that do not or the other term they use is non-nutritive sweeteners. So such as like sucralose and saccharin. In some people, it can affect the microbiome in the gut. So it can increase inflammation in the body. For some people with chronic pain, it can increase their chronic pain syndromes. And then also, there are studies showing that both sucralose and saccharin can impair glucose intolerance. So it could potentially increase a person's risk of getting metabolic syndrome and diabetes. So sugar-free does not equal healthy. And so just being really aware if you're deciding to consume things that contain those substances. Adding tea into your diet can be beneficial. Tea has lots of flavonoids, and they're really good for cardiovascular protection. One thing to consider with teas, especially if you don't drink teas and you're like, oh, I'm going to start drinking this regularly, would definitely be, I would recommend that you buy organic teas just to minimize your exposure to potential like pesticides and herbicides. Um, this one quote I would like to read, it's by Dr. Vivian Komenos. Because I want us all to remember that healthy nutrition is not just about the diets, the nutrients, the calories, or the trials. Healthy food is about love and sharing. Eat more plants, eat less processed foods and red meat, but more important, eat with love and mindfulness. Eat with laughter and fun. So I think that's a really good, like, healthy way of looking at nutrition and how we treat our body and how we treat the meals that we consume. So thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.